All right, it's Misha again, live on iHeartRadio in the Talk to San Diego, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Rafael Castellanos.
Rafael Castellanos, that's right.
I'm sorry, I knew I was going to mess it up. See, I knew. I don't even remember
Everybody
my
does.
name.
Everybody does. It's okay.
And he is the vice chairman of Board of Port Commissioners.
That's right.
All right, so the big day here is at the future of Tuna Harbor, yes?
That's right. We are in the process of redeveloping the Central Embarcadero, which is the area between the Midway Museum and the Hyatt Hotel. It includes Seaport Village, and we have a commercial fishing harbor there. It's called Tuna Harbor, from when San Diego was the tuna fishing capital of the world. We are very excited about the project. We are excited about supporting our commercial fishing industry. San Diego has a long and rich commercial fishing history. The Italians, the Portuguese, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Mexican fishermen, all of them have contributed to the culture of San Diego, the history of San Diego, and so we want to support this very important industry. It's good for the region. There's a strong demand for local fish and sustainable fish, and currently we import 90% of all of the fish that we eat in this country comes from foreign countries. So it's really important to support our local fishing industry, our local fishermen and their families, and we're very excited about the opportunity to do that today.
So the big question of the day is, what does Tuna Harbor mean to you? Now we know what it means to you per se.
To me personally, it means a place that is very unique for all of the reasons I just described. It's not a shopping mall. It's not a park. It's a place where people, families, grandfathers, fathers, sons have worked in an industry for generations. And that's part of our local culture. So that's not something that you can just replicate, recreate. That's something very unique. It's something that is very hard to describe, but it's special. And so I, for one, as a port commissioner, as just one of 7 port commissioners, but I think I can speak on behalf of my colleagues, we support this industry. It's a wonderful and special industry.
So are we turning any hobbies into jobs, or?
Absolutely. The potential to create more jobs is a very big part of this. This used to be, again, the tuna fishing capital of the world. There used to be thousands of jobs here in San Diego. We have canneries. Unfortunately, because of regulations and other obstacles, the industry was really decimated here in San Diego. So we want to try to bring as much of that back as possible. The fish stock in the oceans has really increased. There's an opportunity to strike right now. We have a private developer who wants to invest over $1 billion in improvements, and so just a very, very small part of that will go a really long way to help the fishermen.
Right. So unemployment, working on employment community service, something of value. What do you think the Tuna Harbor's future is when it comes to tourism and the $1,000 hotel room compared to the $70 hotel room in, say, Mission Valley?
Sure. I think that having a thriving commercial fishing harbor where people can come down and see the fishermen working, the boats going in and going out, fishermen working on repairing their nets, the lobster traps, I think that will bring all kinds of people down to the waterfront and their families. And that's the sort of thing that you can do, and it doesn't cost anything to go and watch the fishing operation. So I think it's really, really good for the tourism economy and our local economy in every other way. And if we can support this industry and create new jobs, new fishermen. I was just talking to a fisherman and his wife today, and they said, look, we have 3 sons. They all want to become fishermen, but we wonder if it's really going to be a viable option for them. So if we can do anything to make sure that it is, then we will have really succeeded in that way to promote a very unique and special industry for San Diego.
Now, what about education? Because education is a huge component in the future of anything.
Absolutely. I was just speaking to someone, and wouldn't it be great if we could bring down kids to do field trips to the fishing harbor if it's safe and improved and thriving, and we can bring kids down from elementary school and junior high school, and they can see what the fishermen do for a living. That is fantastic. It's great education for these kids to see how people make a living, and who knows, maybe some kids from East County will decide that they want to become fishermen.
I know, huh? What about, okay, education on the boat? So we're going to have ability to go on a boat and maybe be educated like Alaska. We go on tuna fish, lobster catches.
Look, I would love to see that. Obviously, that is a private enterprise, and we can support it at the port if it makes sense.
You're going to make a permit for it, right?
We have to make a permit for it, or figure out some other way to make sure that it was copacetic.
Of course.
But obviously, I think that would be great. Anytime you can get people on the water, people love it, and it's part of what makes San Diego great. We have to honor the water. We have to look to the water. The water is why people want to live in San Diego.
The beauty of San Diego, the finest city in San Diego is San Diego.
It's the greatest city in the world as far as I'm concerned.
Now, what about your competition? We have San Diego Zoo, we have SeaWorld, we have Seaport Village. I know it's adjacent essentially to Seaport Village in that area, but what about your competition when it comes to tourism?
Well, I think that it's not really about competition. I think all of those attractions benefit each other. That when people go to San Diego or consider traveling to San Diego on vacation, they say, oh, we're going to go just to one of those attractions. They talk about, hey, we're going to get to go to all of these different attractions. So it's not an either-or proposition. I think every attraction will benefit from a new attraction that will bring people to San Diego. That's what we want. We want people to come here. There's plenty of business for everyone to go around.
Now, do you think it's going to be too touristy where it's just all packed and you're sitting in lines to watch a fish come off a boat? Or do you think we're going to moderate it to make it a beautiful experience?
What we're trying to do is really create lots of different alternatives for people. So part of the project contemplates an aquarium. Another part of the project is a observation tower, 450 feet tall, a public beach. So all of these different attractions, retail, restaurants, will keep people moving along. There will be lots of stuff for people to do. And so I don't anticipate that being a real problem. It'll be a problem that solves itself.
Right. So events, is that going to be there too, or just...
Absolutely. So one of the very interesting features is that Pacific Coast Highway will be extended all the way to the water's edge with a large plaza right on the water. So that can be an area for performances or other public art displays for people to really activate that space. On the Embarcadero Marina Park South, the Symphony right now is trying to process a project where they will actually build a permanent outdoor performance center. So that too will create opportunities for there to be musical concerts and other types of performances.
It's not only cultural, it's experience, it's educational, and of course, hopefully futuristic when it comes to the economy and job options.
Exactly.
That's what we're hoping for. What do you think? How long do you think will time span? Between 5 to 10 years? Or are you thinking about more than 2025?
Well, the developer just said today that they expect the project to be fully entitled in 4 years. So hopefully break ground in 4 years. They also said, however, that they would like to expedite the improvements to the commercial fishing harbor itself. So try to do some of that work first. Try to create some theater, some quick victories so that people see, wow, look what's happening, and that will create more support for the rest of the project.
Now, I'm a local San Diegan. I've been here for a long time, but I travel extensive. I've never heard of it. What are you going to do about someone like me has been here, been to Seaport Village, US Midway, did shows there, everything, but I've never even had heard of it, Tuna Harbor.
Well, that's unfortunate, and what we at the port are trying to do is raise more public awareness about the entire port, not just Tuna Harbor, but did people really know that we have 22 public parks around the port of San Diego? We have 3 retail centers, we have 2 marine cargo terminals, we have cruise ship terminals. We have lots and lots of stuff for everyone, and we have to do a better job of letting the region know what we have to offer. It's the public's land, after all.
Exactly. Well, I know we're trying to get out there. Everybody tries to get out there. Communication is the ultimate awareness. What do you think is the best communication platform when it comes to the awareness of the future?
Well, radio and TV, but they can be expensive, right? So the more money,
Unless you own your own.
unless you own your own radio station, of course. But look, the more money you got, the more you can do with respect to those particular types of communications. But also, social media is very important these days. Having events like this one is very important to promote what we're doing here. So we just have to stay very engaged and look for every opportunity that we can. I appreciate you taking the time to come down here and expressing an interest and giving me a little bit of time to tell you about everything that's going on.
I appreciate
Tuna
your
Harbor.
time. Well, with one more question, then I'll let you go real quick. We have an issue when it comes to the pollution of the water. What do you think of awareness about that? Is that why people are afraid to come to the water?
I have some really, really good news. We are achieving levels of water quality that we haven't had in decades in the San Diego Bay. Just about 4 years ago, we completed a major cleanup of some contaminated sediment in the bay near the shipyards and some of the cargo terminal operations. It was a massive effort. We remediated a lot of contaminated sediment. So we are really making great strides in cleaning the water and the sediment. So people should be very happy about that. We're making great progress.
And so don't be afraid of the fish. Don't be afraid of the water.
Just the ones that are glowing. I'm
There you
just
go.
kidding. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, I do appreciate your time. This is again Misha from iHeartRadio, the Talk of San Diego, and I have the pleasure of talking with
Rafael Castellanos. Thank you very much, Misha.
No problem. I love the way you said it more than I did. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.